Hey, I recently posted a couple of pictures of my agroforestry work in Farming Simulator 22 on Reddit, and it got a pretty good reception, so some people requested I create a tutorial. So I went ahead and designed a little agroforestry patch on a smaller field. The whole process took me about an hour, and I recorded everything, cut it down a little so you can get the kind of thought process I had when doing this, and hopefully it will help you recreate anything like this in your game. You're gonna need a couple of mods, those will be listed in the description. You can do this on console, it will be more work than on PC, but it is certainly possible, mainly because the Natural Rivers and Ponds pack is actually available for consoles too, which is pretty awesome. So here's the tutorial. Hope you can learn something. The first thing to keep in mind is on most fields you don't really have easy access from the outside. So you kind of want to plow like a headland around it. And if you ever wanted to have an excuse for using the 26-meter plow, here's it. I'm using this plow because the width of the headlands should be influenced by the widest equipment you have. And that will usually be 24 meters for the sprayer, for example. And 24 seems to be the perfect number because you can use equipment which is like 3, 4, 6, 8 or 12 meters wide, and it will always add up to 24 after a couple of passes. There is unfortunately no 24-meter plow on Modhub. There's only 22 and 26 at least that I could find. So I just used 26 meters one here, which is close enough. And yeah, just go around the headlands, and then we're gonna continue with the second step. Once you're done with the headlands, you want to use the Natural Water Rivers and Ponds pack to figure out a level line. And you can make use of the fact that water will always be horizontal. You can see where it intersects the ground. All of that will be on the same level. So just try to find a spot which is like not too sharp, and place the ponds slightly below where you would want your swale to be. When you overlap these ponds, just try to move your mouse along the terrain and find a spot where like the intersection with the ground looks nice. And once you've done that, we can go to the next step, which is painting the, well, like the riverbed of the swale. This map has a wet mud texture, not every map will have it, just use something dark. And then increase your cursor 4 times. Make it a round shape, and then just try painting as close as you can possibly get to the ponds you placed. It won't allow you to go too close, so just figure out a distance where that works. And then you basically want to follow up all the way to the other headland. Once that's done, you can start selling the ponds. I no longer need them for now. And we want to lower the ground where we painted. I'm gonna switch to developer mode and to wireframe mode soon, so you can see it. That's only available on PC, but yeah, you don't really need it. It's just so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing and why I'm doing this. And then you want to increase your leveling tool 1 time, so it's as wide as the ground you painted, and just go along the ground all the way to the end of the painted ground. Once you're done with that, you want to create a berm next to the ditch, which would in real life block the water from flowing over into the field, and keep it in the swale. This is also where you're gonna plant your trees later on. And try to not to be too cheap on the width. I mean, yeah, you will lose a little bit of field here, but if you make it too narrow, you can have a lot of problems placing the ponds because they will stick out of the berm. So yeah, as before, with the lowered ground, just increase the ground all the way to the end. Once that's done, it's time to paint the berm. I usually use forest ground or forest ground leaves, depends on what the map is offering. This is the Hills of Tuscany map, by the way, which has quite a lot of ground textures. Some only give you like 8 or 10 choices maybe. This has more like, I don't know, maybe 30. So yeah, just figured it would make sense, since we're planting tree here, to use forest ground texture. You can of course use whatever you fancy. Right, now it's time to place the ponds. And you're gonna have to experiment depending on the type of your field. You might be able to use this, which doesn't work here, so probably gonna have to try some round shape maybe, since there's an early turn in here, and just try to make the water as high as possible without it sticking out of the ground. So this seems to be as high as I can get. Then when you overlap this, try to not focus on the straight edges, but rather on the intersections with the ground, and try to place them so the intersections with the ground look equal, or at least similar, for both the pond you already placed and the one you're about to place. So yeah, I can't really see a difference here. It's perfect. And then just try the different shapes which come with the mod pack and pick whichever doesn't stick out anywhere. So yeah, this seems to be just barely possible if I shift it like that. So yeah, that's how you place the water. Now you'll notice along the edges there's a lot of zigzag patterns here. So you want to use the soften tool at full strength and increase it maybe one time. Now with this tool you need to know that you need to go really slowly. If you go too quickly, the ground will not be affected enough. So this would be too quick. Just either slowly go along or go up and down several times. And you should be able to see that slowly all these zigzag patterns in the water begin to disappear. So the step will take a while, but it's definitely worth it. It's like a day-night difference if you're done. You want to do this on either side of the berm as well, so the transition to the field looks kind of clean. Now, a good thing about a softening tool is you won't destroy any field ground next to it. I mean, we're gonna plow over that anyway, but yeah, still nice that it doesn't change what you shaped so far. So you're gonna have a clear line where to follow along with the plow later on. Now, if you want to, you can already place trees, why not? What I usually do is just pick any tree which might maybe be available in the environment. You can see we're in winter right now, so it doesn't look really great, so let's quickly skip to like spring. So I quickly skipped using easy def controls. Because of the way I skipped, the ground hasn't finished catching up yet, so you're gonna see a little bit of snow, but yeah, here it already disappears. So now we're in May. I'm gonna place some birches. If you're on PC, you can use the wireframe mode to like count, for example, maybe 5 spaces distance and get like an equidistant placement of trees. But to be honest, you can just take a look at it and try to have similar kind of distances, or even make different ones and make it look more natural. The main tip I can give for making it look natural is definitely use multiple kinds of trees. Like if you applied real life principles, probably permaculture principles here, you would try to get different layers. So you would have large trees for timber, you would have a layer For stuff like apples maybe, and you would have a berry layer, and then you would have a ground layer to feed the bees basically, and whatever animals are going to be there. Farm Sim doesn't give you that much choice. This map actually has a bit more tree variation, some other maps not so much, so I just place some service berries here to simulate having actual berries, but now you won't be able to harvest them or anything. Next step is to place some bushes. Different ways of doing this. You can drag your mouse or place single ones. Once again, the more different kinds of bushes you're going to place, the more natural it's going to look, and also the more annoying it will be to place, but yeah, you have to decide it for yourself. You can see some of these bushes remove others, but don't actually spawn in a new bush, so you just kind of have to experiment, and make sure you place bushes on either side of the berm. On the other side of the swale, try to place some flowers. Those are once again Hills of Tuscany flowers. Just take a look at what your map offers. And what I do here is use just one type of flower first, and then finish up with, well, multiple types of flowers. So this is our swale fully decorated. This is what it looks like. Pretty nice already. So the next step is plowed ground in 24-meter width, both below the berm and above the flower patch. And we want to do this in a like exactly 24-meter width, so you can easily go there with a spreader. If you're on PC, if you want to save time, one way to do it is by using the Follow Me mod. So I'm actually gonna buy 4 Fend Varios here, and I'm also gonna buy 4 of the Lizard 6MT plows. I'm gonna go for the 6-meter width because you can't divide 24 by 9, obviously, not to a full number anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna set it up quickly and show you how it looks like. So I've placed one tractor next to the flower part, and I'm setting up each tractor with Follow Me and modified so it goes 6 meters to the side and follows up on a 0-meter distance. As you can actually see, they're not going to be directly next to each other, but with a slight offset. And then you can just go with one tractor and have the other ones follow up. If you're on console, you won't be able to do this, but you can just go back and forth 4 times. It's going to take more time, obviously. You could try and find a 12-meter subsoiler plow, something maybe. You don't really need field creation unless you mess up the ground painting, so try whatever works best for you. As you can see, I maybe overdid a bit with the ground softening here. So the right-hand tractor goes a bit left and right, so yeah, you could optimize on this, but to be honest, it's good enough for me. Once you're done plowing, you want to paint the ground with forest ground leaves or whatever you chose. Try to not make it too short, because otherwise you're gonna get stuck in the trees. Now on this side of the field, because it's a rather small field, we don't really have space for more plowed ground, so you can actually just lower the ground here and create a pond in there. Yeah, this will do. The rest is really just more ground painting, more plowing, placing trees. If you want to also place bushes, try to use different kind of trees. And if you follow these steps, you should end up with something like this.